So in this tutorial we're just going to create a simple part. The part that we're going to create will be this bolt here, which as you can see is just a simple representation of a hex head bolt. If we look at some of the features that go to build it up, we've got some boss extrudes, cut revolve features, there's a mirror feature in there as well, another boss extrude, and then a chamfer feature on the end of it. So if we just minimize that for a moment, and then we're going to want to create a new part to recreate the bolt. So if you go File, New, and then you can just double click on the part icon, and if when you come into your new part you can't see the base planes, there's a few reasons why that might be. One of the reasons is they may be switched off in the visibilities menu up here. So if you just click on the eye icon, and then this hides and shows the base planes, this icon here, so you may have to click that. Alternatively, if you do click that and they still don't appear, it may be because each plane is hidden over here on the feature tree. So if you want to select them all by selecting the front plane and then holding down shift and selecting the right plane there, and then you can either hide them all, or to get them back, do it again, hold down shift, you can show them all there. So that allows you to hide and show the planes. So the first thing that we're going to create on the bolt is the hexagon head, and we're going to create that on the top plane. So if you want to click on the top plane, and then in your little quick access toolbar that pops up here, you want to click on sketch. So we've got the sketch tools. I'll bring my sketch tools back into the default position, which will be across the top here, same as yours. And we want the polygon tool, which is this hexagon shape tool here. You don't have to use it just to create six-sided shapes. You can create shapes of any number of sides, but in this instance we want a six-sided shape. So if you reset that back to 6, and then it's asking us to pick the center point of the shape. In our case we want to lock the center point to the origin here. So if I hover near the origin, you can see that it's wanting to put a relation in there to keep the center point coincident with the origin. So that's what we want. So I click there, and then I can drag the shape outwards. So I'm just going to drop it just arbitrarily there, let's say. It doesn't matter if you don't get it in exactly the right position. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock one of these endpoints onto either the horizontal plane here or the vertical plane. So I need to get out of the tool first, so I can hit escape to do that. You can see it's deselected the polygon tool. And then if I just click on one of the points and hold down the left mouse button, it allows me to drag the shape. And then it doesn't really matter which one of these planes you lock this down to, but we'll lock it down to the horizontal. And you can see it wants to snap onto the horizontal, and that little yellow icon that's popping up there is just saying that a coincident relationship is being offered between this point and this plane. So we're happy with that. You can see the coincident relationship is now there, which basically means that that point cannot leave that plane. You can see now I'm trying to rotate the shape round and it won't let me. So that's good. So we've locked the center point of this shape. We've locked one of the external points to one of the planes. So the only thing that we have to do now is to dimension up the distance from one flat face to the other flat face, which in this case would be the spanner size that you'd use on this bolt head. So you want to select Smart Dimension up here from the sketching toolbar, and then just click on two of the flats, and then just position your dimension off to the side so that it's not obscuring the shape. And in this particular instance I think we'll make this a 15mm head. So there you go, you can see it shrank down to 15mm, and then we're happy with that. Now what we can do now is just say okay, we're happy with the sketch, and exit the sketch, but we know that we're going to create an extrude feature from this. So rather than okaying it and then going and creating extrude feature, we can shortcut straight from within the sketch to the extrude. So we select the feature tab, click on extrude boss base, and you can see it understands that we want to use the sketch that we were currently in as the basis of the extrude that we're going to create. So if we just have a little play around with this now, you can see it's put a default extrude distance in here. Yours may default to a different figure. Mine's defaulted to 1 mil, and you can change that in this box. You can roll it up and down. You can enter a value in there if you want using the keyboard. We can put 10 in there, or you can use this dynamic arrow, and if you click and hold on there, you can see I can drag it to all these values, or if I hover over the ruler at the side there, it tends to want to snap to the large whole numbers, or if I really focus in, I can get it to snap to the halfway points, so the 0.5, 12.5, 11.5. So that's quite a useful tool for getting things done quite quickly. So I'll just let go of that now. But in this instance, we don't just want to extrude in a single direction, which is what it's offering to me here. It's taking the sketch as the starting plane, and then it's extruding upwards in a single direction. We want to extrude from the sketch plane both upwards and downwards in equal directions. So the way that we do that is we open up this drop down menu, which is currently set to blind, and we go down to mid plane. So that makes the sketch and the plane that the sketch was made on the midpoint of the extrude. So you can see there it goes in both directions by an equal amount, and that equal amount will be half of what we put in this text box here. So if we put 8, it will go 4 upwards and 4 downwards. As it happens, I think we'll pick something smaller than that, maybe 4 mil looks about right. So if we click on OK, we get our base extrude feature. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put those revolved cuts on the external points of this feature, this hexagon feature. And the way that we do that is we draw a profile on the plane which intersects with the point. So you can see if I rotate around and look from above at this feature, you can see one of the base planes cuts through the 2 points of the hexagon, and the other base plane cuts through the flats of the hexagon. We want to choose to sketch on the one that goes through the points. So in my case, that's the front plane. So I click on the front plane, click sketch, and what we need to do is quickly sketch a little triangle which is locked to this vertical here and to this horizontal here. So you can see this line's locking itself to there, and then is locked to that corner point as well, and then locked back onto itself. So it's a triangle that we've just drawn, and I can get out of the line tool by clicking on OK over here. Then we want to put some dimensions on that, so smart dimension. We'll size that down slightly. I think we'll have 0.8. Dimension the vertical, so we'll put that maybe at 0.6, maybe a bit less. We can drag that dynamically as well if we just grab one of these little blue circles on the dimension. I think we'll have that at half the distance of the horizontal, so that's 0.4. And then we need one more thing to create a revolve. We need to put a center line in the sketch. So I'm just going to temporarily hide the planes here so that we can see the center line more clearly, and an easy way to do that is to just click once on the eye icon, and that hides everything which is within that menu, so that includes the planes. So just click once on there. So we're going to put a center line in. Again, my center line tool is shown here. Yours may be in a sub menu under the line tool, so there it is again. And we're going to select center line. We're going to lock it to the origin, and then just drag it upwards such that it wants to lock itself to vertical. You can see that icon for a vertical relation appearing there. So we'll drop that, hit escape, and then just to ensure that we haven't got any floating endpoints of any lines in this sketch, I'm going to lock this endpoint down just by dragging it back towards the part and letting it lock itself to the part there. So you can see that that endpoint can no longer move. So everything's locked down in that sketch. So there we go, that's our sketch. And then again we can just shortcut straight into the Revolve Cut feature just by clicking on Features, finding the Revolve Cut feature there, clicking on there, and again it understands what we're asking. It understands that the sketch that we were currently in we want to use for the revolve, and it also understands that because there was only one center line in that sketch, that's what we want to use as the axis of revolution. So it's put that center line in this entry box here. It hasn't asked us to populate that box ourselves. It understands. And we want this revolve to run through 360 degrees back to where it started, and so we can OK that feature. And you can see that we've put those small cuts on the top of the bolt, so we're happy with that. If we weren't happy with the shape and scale of that, we could always click on the feature there, and you can see that the driving dimensions are shown, and you can either double click on these and start changing them, or if you click on it again you can dynamically drag and you can see the model update in real time. But we'll leave them as they are because we're happy. So I'm going to bring the planes back again by clicking up here. So here we are, and what we want to do is we want this this sort of cut effect on the bottom of this shape as well, and this was the reason to make that extrude a mid-plane extrude, because what that means is that this plane runs exactly through the center of our part. So it means that we can use that to mirror these features from the top face there down to the bottom face. And the way that we do that is we select the mirror feature up in the features toolbar up here, click on mirror. I already had top plane selected there, so it's put the top plane in that first box. If I didn't have it selected already, that first box will be highlighted in blue, which is basically requesting some input from the user, and what it wants is either a face or plane to mirror the features around. So we'll give it the top plane again. The next box that you can see that's been highlighted in blue is the features to mirror box, and again we can zoom in, just hover over the features just to check that the correct feature is selected, and it was a cut revolve feature that we wanted, not this base extrude feature or boss extrude feature. So we can just click on the revolve, and there you go, it's giving us a quick preview of what that mirror is going to do, and it looks correct. So we'll OK that, and there you go, it's mirrored it about that center plane down onto the bottom face. So the next piece of the bolt, we want to create the shaft of the bolt, and rather than sketch on a plane, because that's not convenient for us at the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to sketch on this bottom face of the bolt, which we can do because it's a flat plane, flat face, just like a plane, and that's an acceptable surface to create a sketch on. So if you click on there and then click on the sketch tool, be careful not to click on this tool, because that will take you back into the sketch that created this hexagon shape. It's not what we want, so we'll do that again. Click on the face, and it's this sketch tool. And then if the view doesn't rotate to show you that face as mine did there, you can view the face at 90 degrees or normal too by opening up this view menu and then just clicking normal to there, which you can see there's a little representation of a flat plane or face, and there's an arrow coming out of it at 90 degrees, which is the normal to arrow. So here we are, we're just going to put a circular sketch in here, we're going to lock it to the origin again, drag it out so visually it looks about right, put a dimension on there, and I think we'll make this an M8 bolt. So if you just enter 8, and then again we can shortcut to the extrude feature straight in there, and we'll just use the drag arrow and we'll lock this one at 40 mil. So you can see there 40 mil. I use the ruler just to snap to the nearest 10. So there you go, we've got the shaft of the bolt. And the final feature was literally just a chamfer on the end of the bolt here. So you can see that the chamfer tool isn't up here on the toolbar, it's actually hidden inside the fillet drop down menu there. There's the chamfer tool. So I could select that. It's asking me to enter some items to chamfer, and I could just select that end face and resize the chamfer maybe to 1 mil, or maybe less than that, 0.5. And you can see the chamfer previewed there. Another way that we could have done that, a slightly quicker way, if we delete the chamfer from the feature tree, is if we just select an edge. You can see in our quick access toolbar here, chamfer is one of the options. So that's just a quicker way of achieving the same thing. So that's the end of this tutorial. Just going through some simple extruded features, revolve features, and a few of the features in there as well, the mirror and the chamfer feature.